36,000. 36,000. That's based on evidence and data. So what happened to the 98%, the half a million, that only 36,000? So we only have 2%. I'm not a good mathematician, but I think it's 2% of the 400, half a million through to grade 12. Out of the grade 12, we can only, the facilities that we have in the country, depending on different circumstances, one of which is the infrastructure, we can only cater for about 25,000. 25,000 out of the 36,000. So you are very, very fortunate to be here. The question that you should be asking, we should be asking, do we ignore those unfortunate and underprivileged ones in our midst, in our quest for success and good life? The answer is simply no. You and I have a responsibility to the society and its people who cared for us and who make significant sacrifices to enable us to be here today. In law, we call it a duty of care. Now, let me speak a little about the national goals and directive principles. The preamble of our Constitution, our forefathers, our Constitution is quite peculiar because it is homegrown, okay? Before independence, we needed to have a Constitution. So under the leadership of Chief John Mommis, they actually went throughout Papua New Guinea, the length and breadth. I'm not talking about, going to hotels and sleeping. No, at the time we did not have many hotels, no guest houses, no nothing. They practically went and sat and eat and drink and sleep with the people to see what is the expectation to be captured in the Constitution for the time and going into the future. That is the Constitution we call homegrown Constitution. So in the preamble, it sets out the national goals and directive principles. First, it says integral human development to free ourselves from any form of domination, oppression, and control. Let me talk a little bit about dependency syndrome that we continue to create in this country. The dependency syndrome, leaders, business people, elites tend to think that they'll make the people become dependent. When they become dependent, there is a tendency to exploit them for your own personal benefit. That is why our forefathers foresaw that way back in the 1960s. They were not highly educated. You and I are highly educated, but they saw that based on the wisdom. They were visited upon by men above. So they said, free oneself from form of domination, oppression, and control. This is exactly what we are going through now, ladies and gentlemen, and you will go and experience it. It's from our resources development. Back then, when our country gained independence, we only had Bougainville copper. Bougainville copper was able to look after the entire Papua New Guinea. Then came in 1986, I believe, or 85, thereabouts, Octedi. But now look at the resources that we have. The question that we should be asking, look at the hospitals, look at the schools. Are we seriously observing this preamble of the Constitution that says equal and equitable distribution of the wealth and benefits from our country? Number 3, national sovereignty and self-reliance. It talks about to be economically and politically independent. And our economy, basically self-reliant. The question that we should be asking is, after 50 years of independence, are we economically independent? That is a question that we should be asking ourselves. 4, national resources and environment to be conserved for the collective benefit of us all and replenished for the benefit of future generation. That's quite poignant in itself. Do we exploit all our resources now and leaving nothing for the future generation? That is something for you and I to ponder about. Number 5, Papua New Guinea ways to achieve development through use of Papua New Guinean forms of social, political, and economic organizations. Now you see, Papua New Guinea is quite peculiar. We come from 1,000 different tribes. How we cobbled together our forefathers to make it become a nation, that's a significant achievement in itself. So for you and I, elites, educated Papua New Guineans, for you will be coming to the to play your role? Do we fragment and create the opportunity recipe for destruction, or we continue to build on the foundation that our forefathers built? That is enshrined in the preamble. These are not just mere words, ladies and gentlemen. These are policy statements enshrined in the Constitution. It is non-justiciable. You cannot, if there is a breach, if there's unequal distribution, you cannot bring it to court and say, look, people from East New Britain want this and that, and government, you didn't do it. No, they can't say that. But it is a significant policy statement embedded in our Constitution. So all the other policies that we create, you will be making policies, you will be implementing. We must always read the Constitution and get to understand what it entails. Your actions, education, I call it double-edged sword, or bustafa, double-edged. If you want to use it to add value to people, you can. But if you want to use it to destroy people, you can, ladies and gentlemen. It is upon your hands now. You use it to add value to the people. Look at the people who are seated around you. You are the hope. You are the aspiration. That's why these people invested a lot in you. And they're now coming here to witness your graduation. So the challenge is now on you. Our roles will be reversed. You will be expected now. You know, you've been receiving all your life. Not the same to, I think some public servants who are seated here today, graduating today again. But for those students who came straight from high school to secondary school, you've been relying on your dad and mom and your guidance to provide for you. But our roles will change now. You will become the provider. Okay? You won't be receiver, you will be the provider. To your dad and mom, to your sponsors, to your guidance, and to me as well. I'm a taxpayer. My expectations are very high of you. So plan, have a plan. Life is not a fluke. Life is not a game. Life is serious. Let's have a plan. You have a plan. Plan out your life. Let's say